Yo, what's going on, guys? And today we're talking about the fact that a fan on Twitter tweeted at LaMarcus Aldridge saying, hey, would you be open to coaching for the San Antonio Spurs, helping out Victor Wembanyama? And guess what our man said? Yeah. And I wonder if that's going to happen. I remember Tim Duncan, the guy that we thought was going to be the successor to Greg Popovich, only lasted a few seasons. Can someone tell me why? Did they ever give a reason why Tim Duncan only lasted a few seasons as an assistant coach? Was there a reason, or did he just not like coaching? Someone tell me down below. But LaMarcus Aldridge, I would love for him to come in. He's one of the greatest power forwards of our generation. Okay, our generation being the 21st century of the last 20 years. And he's definitely a guy that I think when you look at it, he's going to be able to help this team, in my thought at least, be able to have kind of an adult in the room in terms of the bigs. Because if you guys haven't been following the Spurs offseason, the Spurs have a lot of centers at training camp. And I wonder if they're going to be taking all those guys on the main roster. That's definitely going to be something to consider. I know Charles Bassey's going to be there, so will Zach Collins. I think those two guys are like guarantees. Obviously, Victor Wembanyama is playing power forward, but when you look at it, they also have Sandro, who is going to be there. Sandro, Charles Bassey, Kem Birch, Zach Collins, Victor Wembanyama, and Don Barlow's on a two-way. Jeremy Sohan can play basically every single position. So these are all guys who could benefit from having LMA in the facility. I think Kem Birch, they'll probably cut him, but Charles Bassey I really like, and I believe he's on a 2-year deal. Sandro's on a 1-year deal, but these are all guys who would definitely be looking up to LMA, especially if he's an assistant coach. He's going to be teaching these guys stuff, how to do things correctly, and I think that just can't go overstated or be overlooked. As I think, like we said the other day, a few days ago, we made that video where Vic's going to play power forward to start off. And that means Zach Collins is probably going to be the starting center, who he averaged like 16 and 10 to close off the year. So I'm all for it. But I think right here, we're just giving you guys the idea that, look, okay, LaMarcus Aldridge, what he's going to teach these guys is how to be an efficient scorer, how to build that 3-level scoring, teach them how to, post ups, teach them how to facilitate from the elbow, from the low block, and teach them how to be a shot blocker. Obviously, I'm not going to sit here and be like LaMarcus Aldridge was the best defender of his generation. That's not true. That's just not true. It isn't. He wasn't. But, in his prime, he was a solid defender. Not an elite one. He wasn't making all defensive teams. But he was a guy who he was one of the best scorers in the league. He was a guy that when he went into free agency, the Spurs won free agency that year because they landed LaMarcus Aldridge. And I really do think that we have an opportunity to get a veteran, a guy who's been a part of the culture, a guy who can teach the young guys the culture. And I think that's really good. I think that's really important. Now, I wonder, would he just be a player development coach? Because I don't think he'd be a front of the bench coach. I don't think Greg Popovich would make him earn his stripes in terms of you're not just going to come here and be a front of the bench coach. The X and O's and all the other things that go into the experiences needed to earn the seat in the front end of the bench next to the head coach is one only few players get immediately upon starting coaching. I mean, unless you're like Jason Kidd or like Derek Fisher and you immediately become a head coach, but usually guys start off as player development coaches or scouts or something and then slowly earn their way to the front of the bench. But what do you guys think, Spurs fans? Would you guys give LMA an opportunity to be the head coach? I'm going to see if my man Spurs Clan made a video on this. He's always good. I did an interview with him a year ago. So let me hear your thoughts down below, guys. I really do appreciate every single one of you, and I'm definitely curious to see what's going to happen and why with LaMarcus Aldridge. I definitely think he would be a very good signing or hiring at this point.